Hi all, Patrice here from Empowerment Within with episode 4 of You Can Only Give What You Have. This week we're going to be talking about what you're doing outside of your workplace in order to recharge and refresh. This is something that's often overlooked by a lot of people in the helping profession and really in work in general. As a society right now, we don't really value a lot of playtime and a lot of free time, especially for adults. And we kind of expect people to go, and get things done and get as much done as possible and work as long of work weeks as possible. And it's all been really normalized for us to not really take a breath, not really stop, slow down, and enjoy our lives. And so this is something I often help a lot of helping professions with because especially within the helping field itself, there's a lot of pressure to show up and show up constantly and to take shifts when they can't find somebody and to work overtime and do all of these things that really impact our well-being and our overall mental health. So emotion fatigue is really common in the profession because you're giving a lot of your emotion all day to connect with people and help them heal. And so when we are kind of feeling emotionally drained, it gets really easy for us to isolate away from others. And this is a problem because for a lot of people, they actually recharge by being around people. But because we're around people all day, we think that, I've been around people, I'm so tired, I don't want to go out, I'm going to feel better if I stay home and watch Netflix or do whatever. And then we end up not feeling better and we kind of feel more drained and we wake up the next morning and it starts to drag on and make us feel kind of isolated and alone. And so this is where knowing if you're an introvert versus an extrovert is really important. And so the typical definitions of introvert and extrovert are that an introvert is more shy and internal, and an extrovert is more bubbly and engaged externally. So the way that I use the words introvert and extrovert are, as an introvert, you would be more likely to recharge by being alone. And so that means that in order for you to feel a little bit more balanced and whole and a little happier, then you're going to need to recharge by being with yourself and doing activities that really help you relax. For a lot, and I would say the majority of people who work in the helping profession tend to be extroverts in that they recharge with other people. But it's really important for you to know what recharging with other people looks like. Because for some people, that's going and having a game night. For other people, that's just being around a couple of loved ones or somebody who's really supportive of you, who understands how much your profession takes out of you, and having something a little bit more low key. For other people, that really means, getting up and getting out of the house and enjoying life outside of work. Being an extrovert in the helping profession is really challenging because we're out and we're connecting with people all day, and sometimes it's the last thing we want to do when we get home. But knowing for yourself, if you recharge, if you go out with friends and you do something and you come back home and you feel a little bit lighter, you feel like you can breathe a little bit more, you got to take note of that and notice, this is how I'm recharging. So even on those days where I just want to go home and I just want to sit and do nothing, that's probably not going to help me recharge, and I'm probably going to feel worse tomorrow. And that is really, really challenging for a lot of people because it gets easy the second we step in the door and want to put on our pajamas to just melt into the couch. It takes a lot more work and time and effort to get up and go out. And sometimes that's just going on a walk around the block or, running to Target and just walking around just to get out of the house, just to connect with other people in a way that isn't based in your profession itself. So it's really another form of self-care. And when I did the video on self-care, I had a couple of people ask me, Patrice, I've been trying to take better care of myself. I've been trying to look at this. I've been trying to look at that. And it's hard and it doesn't always feel good. And I let them know, that is one thing I missed in that video was that self-care doesn't always feel the best right away. Self-care really isn't about instant gratification, but it's about creating a life where you're able to maintain and thrive. And so proper self-care is really, it's the long game of gratification and being able to be centered and feel really good about yourself and with yourself. And so sometimes that means, working out a few times a week. And for some people, that start of that routine is really, really challenging. And there's always blocks to our self-care. So knowing what those blocks to your self-care are is crucial, because those are things you need to work on for yourself. If you notice that you're a person that kind of knows everything that you need to do in order to do it, to take care of yourself, but you really lack some of that ability to follow through and do it, you've got a block, and you've got to address it, and you've got to work with somebody to work through it so that you really can get into the best self-care practice for you. When I engaged in brain spotting for myself, which is something we'll go over in a couple of weeks, my capacity for self-care just grew, and there was a lot that was blocking me from, I knew I needed to work out, but I was working out for the wrong reasons. I knew I needed to meditate, but I couldn't find the couple of minutes to calm my mind, and when I did, it didn't feel like it was working. And so I overworked myself. I burned myself out. I felt really tired and slow, and I just wasn't engaged in my life, and I wasn't happy. And so through working through my own blocks, I was able to find my own happiness again, which was really important for me. So, self-care isn't always going to be easy, and finding stuff outside of work and engaging in your life outside of work isn't always going to be easy, but it's crucial. The last thing that I always let people know is that boundaries around your help are crucial. Oftentimes helpers go into the profession because they want to help the people closest to them. But when you're full force in your career and you're working 40, 50, 60 plus hours a week, you need to set up some boundaries with your loved ones and the people around you that you aren't their caretaker. So as a mental health therapist, I have a lot of people come to me for advice, and sometimes I will offer support and I'll listen, but I always remember where my line is. Like, I'm not this person's therapist. I can offer support, and I can offer to connect them to a really good therapist. I can do all of that, but I can't be their therapist, because not only is it unfair to me, but it's unfair to them as well. People that are my friends come to me for friendship, which is very different than a therapeutic relationship. And so saying no and learning how to draw lines and telling people, I really care about you, and I'm so glad you trust me enough to come to me with this, or that you're struggling with this. Let me find somebody. Let's work together to find somebody who's going to be a good fit for you, so that we can stay in our relationship the way that it needs to be. So that's kind of all I have for you guys today. I really want you to think about what recharges you and what you need to be doing more of outside of work in order to feel happier and lighter and be more engaged in your life, whether that be pulling yourself outside of the house even when you don't want to, finding a game night, or finding a exercise group to be a part of, anything that helps you feel more connected. It doesn't always need to be, talking with friends. Sometimes it can be simple stuff that helps you connect with strangers, and not anything overly deep or meaningful, but just simple connection can really help us recharge and helps prevent vicarious trauma, and so that we don't get that compassion fatigue or that burnout or vicarious traumatization, because it helps keep our perspective of the world in check. When we isolate, our perspective really narrows and we start to see the world in one way. So I hope this was helpful for you all. Comment below on any questions that you guys have, or reach out for any kind of further information. Thank you.